Greetings, everyone. My name is Maisha Swain, and I will be presenting our evaluation plan alongside Evan Parker and Cheryl James. So, an overview of our agency. Throughout our agency analysis, we discovered that limited support services were provided to RAD residents before, after, and during RAD. We also saw that 97% of RAD residents were single mother households. We saw that there was a need for more community awareness on the importance of voting for the housing bond, which is a huge factor with the renovations that are needed up under RAD. We also decided that there was an excessive amount of delimited housing, which is why it is important that more community awareness is made towards the housing bond, so more funding could be provided for the renovations needed for those RAD properties. We also discovered that there was a need to increase the mixed income housing up under RAD. The theory of change. So theory of change is a general graphical representation of how you believe change will occur within your program. So RAD, and further resources, if further resources were devoted by Congress on federal funded grant programs such as the rental assistance demonstration, RAD, then there would be more money provided for support services in delimited housing, which will provide RAD residents with the necessary resources needed to succeed outside of RAD, as well as increase renovated properties for low and mixed income families. So based upon our logic model, for our inputs and resources, we've decided, we found that funding was needed for moving expenses. We would need we would need resident staff, staffing from RAD. We would need community partnerships, which would be partnering with local churches or local food banks, and through the partnership with local churches, we could access those food banks and access any other resources that RAD residents may need. We would need workshop curriculums and an assessment form. For our activities, we would assist residents with moving. So that would be provide transportation, boxes, and inventory of resources that have been moved in and out of RAD units. We would conduct workshops and educational meetings, so making RAD residents aware of what is going on and what the overall process looks like, transitioning in and out of RAD. We would provide an assessment on whether or not RAD residents may want to return to the RAD residents. We would do community outreach. So again, making the community aware of what we are trying to do to these RAD units. We would provide case management, and we would provide transportation. The outputs, we would look at the number of workshops provided. We would look at the number of residents who are transitioning in and out of RAD. We would look at the number of residents in each RAD unit, and we would look at the number of referrals provided for RAD. The short-term outcomes that we came up with would use the knowledge of RAD programs that are facilitated up under RAD. For RAD residents, we would increase knowledge on job readiness. For our intermediate terms and outcomes, we would make RAD residents more desirable in the job market. We would help make RAD residents more desirable in the job market. We would prepare residents to move, and we would increase healthcare screenings for RAD residents. And last, our long-term outcomes, we would have more community engagement, so RAD residents would be more aware of what is going on throughout RAD. We would improve the overall quality of life for RAD residents. So within the dilapidated RAD units. You may have mold or bad air units. Just improving the overall appearance of these RAD facilities and providing a health assessment for those RAD residents would help improve the overall quality of RAD residents. We would provide more research on what is already in place. So we would evaluate the programs that are currently facilitated up under RAD and see how we could better improve those that are already in place. And we would provide RAD residents would become more self-sufficient.
Hi, my name is Cheryl James, and I'll be speaking to you on the design. The evaluation design is instructed to produce an appraisal of unbiased benefits of the program given. Our evaluation question: how has RAD residents benefited from transition services, support services before, during, and after transition? And what do those support services look like? The evaluation question seeks to understand the perception of the residents regarding support services before, during, and after the program. Our data collection is going to be taken, primary data is going to be from our residents, which are 97% of our residents are single mothers. We will restrict our data collection to the Durham County area. Our interviews will be conducted with residents who have been in the who are in the transition before, during, and after. We can gather our information best because they would the best benefit what would best benefit them in the different stages of transition. The types of questions that we would ask on our survey or analysis, the questions would be easily understandable. We would take into consideration the education, socioeconomic status, health, all that would be taken into consideration when we did our data analysis. We will compare the results with other programs similar to the RAD program, which our program in Durham, the RAD program was initiated and modeled after the program in Baltimore, Maryland. We will compare the findings from other low-income housing residents that RAD provided during their transition.
Hello everyone, my name is Ebony Parker and I will be talking to you about the standards of evaluation, which is utility, feasibility, propriety, and accuracy. Utility is asking who is benefiting from the desired results, which are the RAD residents, and you all will utilize the given information in the evaluation plan to make those desired changes. Feasibility, or the stakeholders' implementation of proposed programs and resources. In the evaluation plan, you all will look at the feasibility of those and make those necessary changes and the time and resources that it takes to make these changes in the RAD program. Propriety is utilizing the primary data, and the primary data involves the tenants that are residents of the RAD program, and accuracy involves giving information from previous RAD residents to ensure that the program is accurate and